Hello everyone.
Welcome to our podcast. I'm your host Phindile Mahlawe. I'm not alone, I'm with
Nokukhanya Phindile.
So today we are reflecting on literature's darkest corner and the brightest ideas.
And we'll be unlocking The Bloody Chamber by Angela Carter, a story that's sinister, seductive, and subversive.
So there's this quote by Angela Carter that says, "My intention was not to do versions, but to extract the latent context from the traditional stories and to use it as the beginnings of the new stories."
And that's exactly what she does. She doesn't retell Bluebeard, but she reimagines it through a feminist Gothic lens.
So let's start with Carter's intention and fairy tale subversion. Carter's stories aren't nostalgic, they are radical. She takes the familiar motifs of fairy tales and twists them into something darker and more revealing.
Yes. Think about the original Bluebeard tale. A young bride, a forbidden room, a murderous husband. Carter keeps the skeleton but adds flesh, bloody and political.
She uses the fairy tales as the framework to explore power, sexuality, and control. The heroine is just not a passive victim. She is curious, conflicted, and ultimately transformed.
And Carter's prose is louche, and she blends beauty with brutality, desire with dread. It's not just a story, it's an experience.
So let's move to the critical perspective of the text. Yes, The Bloody Chamber. Let's talk about the critical debate. Some scholars argue that Carter exposes how Enlightenment uses romantic fantasy to lure and exploit women.
And others suggest that she's not critiquing romance, but toxic individuals like the Marquise who embody patriarchal dominance.
I think both readings are valid. You know, the Marquis is a symbol of control.
Yes.
For example, the Marquis uses this attraction to manipulate and trap their victims. For example, the young bride, which is a pianist, a lecturer, she gave the young bride a luxurious lifestyle, but it is all a trick to make her dependent on him.
And he also made her drastic songs.
Yes, like the piano said that in the novel that he made me play the Chapin funeral march,
which was crazy if you ask me.
Yes, this shows how even something beautiful can be twisted into something cruel in the hands of the wrong person. But Carter also critiques the cultural fantasy that women should surrender to love even when it's dangerous. And you see, the young bride and Marquis' love is toxic in this
toxicity.
Yes.
And the heroine's journey isn't towards romantic fulfillment, it's towards self-awareness. She begins as a naive bride and ends as someone who sees through the...
Exactly. The Marquis changed the pianist totally.
Completely.
Yes. And her mother intervention.
The mother.
That's no fairy godmother.
There's a pistol-wielding matriarch who writes the ending. So she's impeccable.
So let's move to Gothic elements and atmosphere. The setting is classic, the remote of castle filled with secret and shadows. For example, the corpse of his three wives in the
even when she arrived at the mansion, she explains that there are
the pornography part in
the scary
mirrors,
things that are layered. Oh
even
my God!
Even the bed.
I'd never sleep
hilarious.
in that bed.
I'm joking, guys. It's not hilarious. It's scary.
It is. Yes. And Carter makes it visceral. The castle isn't just spooky, it's a metaphor for entrapment. The heroine is The heroine is surrounded by luxury, but it's suffocating.
Yes, of course.
She's not enjoying a thing.
The bloody chamber itself
Mm-hmm.
is the heart of the Gothic.
Mm-hmm.
It's hidden, forbidden, and horrifying. A literal room of death, actually.
And the suspense builds through sensory detail, mirrors silence, the weight of expectation. Carter uses dread like scalpel, I meant to say.
Then there's the damsel in distress.
Yeah,
Carter
our protagonist.
Yes. So Carter subverts her completely. The heroine isn't rescued by a prince, she's saved by her mother, and she doesn't return innocent. She gains knowledge. Yeah, I like
That's
the part.
the Gothic street.
Yeah, I like the part where female are the heroines, not men all the time. Yeah.
Umandla. That's the Gothic twist. Innocence isn't preserved, it's shattered. And in its place, we get agency, women agency, female agency.
Yeah.
So let's get into feminist reimagining of romance and sexuality. So Carter's feminism is fierce. She doesn't just critique patriarchy, she reimagines female desire.
So the heroine is curious about sex. She's not punished for it. She's not punished for trusting the wrong man. That's a big shift from traditional fairy tales into modern.
Okay. And Carter doesn't shy away from eroticism. Her prose is sensual and often disturbing. She forces us to confront how desire and danger intertwine.
Yeah, and culture also critiques the fantasy of the happy ending in the bloody chamber. Marriage isn't a salvation, it's a trap where you're being controlled.
The person is not what you thought they are.
Yeah, you don't get a freedom. Yes.
And Carter doesn't reject love entirely. She just insists that love must be chosen freely, not imposed.
Of course. And that's the feminist core agency. The heroines learns to see, to choose, to resist. Yeah. So let's look to textual examples. The one that stands out is when the heroine describes her wedding night. In page 11, we see the heroine says, I sensed in myself a potentiality for corruption that took my breath away.
Yes. That line is chilling. It shows her awareness of her own desire and the danger it brings.
And another important moment, is when she enters the bloody chamber, the forbidden room. Yeah. She said the walls streaked with crimson, like the interior of an animal.
Carter's imagery is grotesque and symbolic. The chamber isn't just a murder sin, it's a revelation. And it exposes the cost of submission.
Oh yes. And the mother's arrival, at the end of the novel.
That's my best part of the novel.
There's this quotation that says, you never saw such a wild thing as my mother. She raised my father's gun and put a single bullet through my husband's head.
Cold.
Fun.
She showed him cold.
That's the climax.
That's the climax. The mother becomes an agent of justice.
Yeah, she disrupted the Gothic narrative and rewrites the ending.
She changes the whole scene. She changes the whole story. So it's something that we never expected.
In this context, the rescuer, the heroine is the mother. Yeah.
As we are wrapping up our podcast for today, What are we taking away from the Bloody Chamber?
What we are taking away is that fairy tales are not innocent.
True.
That romance can be dangerous. That women deserve stories where they not just rescued but transformed.
And Carter doesn't just rewrite fairy tales, she rewrites the rules of storytelling.
Of course. And in doing so, she gives us a new kind of heroine. One who sees,
One
who chooses, who survives. Exactly.
Thanks for joining us on our podcast, and we're looking forward to seeing you on the next episode.
Thank
Don't
you
forget
very
to subscribe,
much.
like, and comment.
So I have a question for you, viewers. So my question is, what would you do if you found yourself in the same situation as our female protagonist?
So we'll be waiting for your responses.
In the
Until
comment
then,
section.
stay curious, stay critical, and never stop unlocking the stories beneath the stories.
Bye. Thank you very much for your time.